said it time and time again on the campaign trail and on Inauguration Day. Donald Trump expanded on his future vision for our nation.
From this day forward, it's going to be only America first. Every decision on trade, on taxes, on immigration, on foreign affairs will be made to benefit American workers and American families.
Today, Trump announced another major policy change, he would argue, aligning with the America First way.
As president, I can put no other consideration before the well-being of American citizens. The Paris Climate Accord is simply the latest example of Washington entering into an agreement that disadvantages the United States to the exclusive benefit of other countries. In order to fulfill my solemn duty to protect America and its citizens, the United States will withdraw from the Paris Climate Accord.
Now, it's certainly not the first such move by the administration. Just last week, Trump took part in a G7 meeting most have described as contentious at best, with the U.S. taking the others on over NATO, trade, climate action, all of which led German Chancellor Angela Merkel to declare, the times in which we can fully count on others are somewhat over. As I've experienced in the past few days, we Europeans must really take our destiny into our own hands. Some worry this means America's days as a global leader are numbered, but White House National Security Advisor H.R. McMaster and the head of the National Economic Council, that's Gary Cohn, beg to differ. They wrote an op-ed in the Wall Street Journal this week that America first doesn't mean America alone, and that the president embarked on his first foreign trip with a clear-eyed outlook that the world is not a global community, but an arena where nations, non-governmental actors, and businesses engage and compete for advantage. Joining me are Harvard Business School's Gautam Mukunda. Good to see you again. He's a member of the Council on Foreign Relations. Carol Savitz, Senior Advisor at MIT's Security Studies Program. Good to see you, too.
Nice to see you.
Jim Rapport is Director at the New Boston Fund and former Chair of the Mass GOP. Jim, good to see you as well. Just to see if we're starting on the same page, without making a value judgment yet, do we all agree that we're in the midst of U.S. withdrawing as a global leader on a bunch of issues? Do we agree on that or do we not agree on that?
I don't agree on that.
Two nods, you do not?
No.
Wait, after today, we're with Nicaragua and Syria on the Paris Climate Accord, and we're not withdrawing from global leadership?
First of all, if the Paris Agreement was such a wonderful agreement, Obama would have had the Senate approve it, since it's allegedly a treaty.
I'm not arguing for it or against it.
Which, by the way,
Syria, Nicaragua, and the U.S. are the three outliers. That's
and none of the other countries are obligated
treaty.
to. Exactly. So what good is it? It's paper.
I think Jim.
Okay, well, we'll go down the line.
I think my friend Jim is doing an able job of defending an indefensible position.
How so?
You cannot be a leader with no followers. The relationship between the United States and Western Europe, Germany, Great Britain, France, has been the cornerstone of the world system for more than 70 years. And we have just watched the leaders of Europe look at Donald Trump and say, I want no part of that. The Americans are clearly incapable of exercising their stage on the world stage. The Paris Agreement is a big deal, but the Paris withdrawal is just really the Trump administration's sort of patented mixture of incompetence and affect, right? It doesn't really mean a lot. It's a great way to piss off the rest of the world. It's an unbinding
Where's the
agreement.
incompetence, by the way?
So the incompetence is you are giving away a fair amount. You are taking a hit in American prestige.
Leadership.
You're giving away the set of leadership. You're giving away, by the way, when we think about what the agreement is meant to
leadership
do.
On what?
Leadership on one of the most important issues of the 21st century, the idea
To
of climate change. And well, also to a majority of the American public, more than 60% of which thinks climate change is a major issue.
Last election.
So, that's an interesting thing. That's
they
right.
think actually having a job and educating their children is a little more important.
So the funny thing is what you really see, and Jim, again, is doing a great job of defending the past against the future. And that is the central thrust of what the Trump administration is doing. For example, we can take this very simply. There are more people who work in the solar panel industry than in the coal miners, that which Trump cares so much about.
Subsidized.
And the peak, from what you know,
so are coal miners. One second here.
I'm trying here.
So are coal miners, so is oil. That subsidy is a big part of just about every industry.
Go, so I'm going to hold you right there.
Yeah.
Carol.
Yeah.
I think just to talk about the Paris climate change, I mean, technologies are advancing. There is nothing that's going to bring back the coal industry in this country.
And I agree.
We are giving up leadership in technology, in setting a moral example for everybody else.
First of all, how are we giving up the technology lead?
because we're not going to be investing in these alternative energies.
China and the EU were saying yesterday the U.S. slides out, we slide
exactly.
in. You don't buy that?
No, of course
Why
I don't
not?
buy it. First of all, under the agreement, China doesn't have to do anything until 2030. They get to continue to dirty
But
their
China
air.
stepped
And by
up
the
to
way,
the plate
the United
already.
States is keeping its air cleaner because, for example, with the amount of natural gas, we have put more coal plants out of service.
Okay, I got to hold this
why-
a second. Can someone explain to me, since you obviously all consume this with great care today, this is part of what Donald Trump said today, and if someone could explain to me exactly what he meant, I personally would appreciate
Well,
it.
don't hold me accountable
Here's
for
the president. Here it is.
At what point does America get demeaned? At what point do they start laughing at us as a country? We want fair treatment for its citizens, and we want fair treatment for our taxpayers. We don't want other leaders and other countries laughing at us anymore, and they won't be.
You remember when George...
laughing at us now.
No,
I understand that, but it's
he's
sort of like,
referring-
it's sort of like when George Bush, the younger, used to say, for those who say we should cut and run, and I would always say, who's saying we should cut and run?
Right.
Same thing here. Who's laughing at us? Forget today. Who's laughing at us
What
that
he
he's
is
talking about?
referring
Wait,
to-
let me hear.
Nobody. I don't think
nobody.
anybody was laughing at us. I think that even under George W. Bush, and I'm a lifelong Democrat, let's put that on the table, and Obama, we were taking positions that benefited not only the United States, but the rest of the world.
Can we get back to what Gotham said, too? You know, where our role has been since World War II, this has been under Democratic and Republican
Right, this is
presidents.
not
It hasn't
unique
been
to-
a
right.
province of only the Democratic Party.
And you're absolutely right. And when we've had an agreement of this nature, it's been a treaty, it's gone to Congress, it's had bipartisan support. This was not sent to Congress for the very simple reason that Kerry and Obama could not have gotten
But
the
Jim,
votes
if I
needed
may-
to
But they
pass
could
Even if
not
you
have
were-
gotten it
excuse
through
me.
a Republican Senate.
Even
That's
if you were
exactly
right on the
right.
merits for a minute, the issue for
was
me,
Democratic
because a
from the
lot
first.
of I've never lived, and I've lived a long time. I haven't lived at a time when America, the United States, was not a leader. To me, at least, factually, it's not even a judgment. We have stepped back from leadership. That may be a wonderful thing, according to you, and best for America.
Well, first of
but
all,
that
I
is
don't
a
believe
fact.
we have.
No, let's
He
look-
just-
Wait, let me have Jim.
First of all, I don't think we have totally stepped back. We're stepping back from what was a lousy agreement.
We didn't
And-
embrace. We did this mutual pledge.
When he
pledge to assist the mutual defense pledge with our NATO brothers and sisters. We leave there now, even though, incidentally, McMaster and Cohn, I think totally disingenuously in the Wall Street Journal yesterday, said that Trump embraced it. He did nothing
He
of
said
the sort.
nothing.
He certainly
That's
did by
not retreating.
First of all,
No.
he appeared there with them, and he clearly evidenced it. He got NATO to sign up into the ISIS battle, which they
But
had
he
not
didn't buy
formally
into the
before.
pledge. What's
Second-
the economic consequence of this? Let's forget whether we agree on whether we're retreating from leadership.
I think we
What's
lose.
the economic
I think
consequence
we
of this?
lose. We live in a
How?
world that's
How?
globally connected, and we cannot take this step back and pretend that we're going to do everything by ourselves. We're going back to autarky. You know, we can. You
But
can
we're still
argue
going to
about.
deal with these other countries. It's not
But
like
how?
we're
But on
retreating from the
bilateral
world.
basis, when everything now
What
is
does this
in a
agreement have
globalized
to do
economy.
with any trade or have anything to do? What it has to do with is saying that you, the developed countries, except for this country, this country, this country, and this country, are going to limit what your
Well, it's just-
What's the
I mean,
economic
we should know.
consequence, Gotham?
The economic consequences are vast, but not.
name them.
But
Don't
not
just
What
say
are
they're
they?
vast.
Well,
Let
yes,
me hear
Jim,
what it
I'd
is.
like to,
Let
but
me
you've
hear
got
it.
to stop interrupting me. The consequences are that investments, sort of, when you want to dominate the technologies and industries of the future, that is clean energy, natural, right, of the science-based technology, the sort of things that the Trump budget is basically zeroing out research for. When you want to do that, it takes consistent investment and regulatory certainty on the part of the government. What Donald Trump
Is
demonstrated...
that not why most corporate leaders, including the leader of ExxonMobil, endorse this?
It's striking. It's
exactly.
the leader of
Exactly.
yeah,
They understand it.
So
No,
you know,
they
we can go,
endorse
we
it.
can
One
go
second.
further.
We're going to get right back, I
Right.
promise.
We can go further on this, right? This is a very consistent pattern of the Trump administration. Go back. But they're right. They are there for the past against the future. Trump, the very simple way here, what did he do with NATO? Now, you can say, oh, gee, they endorse it. Now, we all know that the NATO agreement with ICE, all those countries already involved, that was just a free PR win. They gave Trump the hope that they would give something good, the way you give a lollipop to a 4-year-old. But what was really happening here, right, really clear, is that if you say, well, we reassured them about Article 5, just to be clear, so the
This is a
listeners know what
mutual
this
defense
is.
pledge,
Mutual
Article
defense.
5,
Article
yeah.
5 has only been invoked once in the entire history of NATO
Around
to
Afghanistan.
defend
9/11.
us,
Right.
right? So Donald Trump said, you guys did that. You came in, you invoke this to defend us. But by the way, I will do what no U.S. president has ever done. I will refuse to reaffirm our commitment to this mutual defense pact. Now, you cannot be a leader if you don't. Hang on. You cannot be a leader if you do not have.
But he didn't embrace it. He clearly did not embrace it.
He avoided saying anything
He's
about
the first president
So
to
by
refuse to
virtue of
embrace it.
avoiding saying anything about it.
He is the first president to refuse to embrace, the first one ever, which is important. Diplomacy is every bit as much about what you don't say as what. And notice,
Okay.
H.R.
I gotta hold that.
McMaster tried to force him to do that. This was leaked multiple times, and he refused.
Since we have so
Everybody knows
much
what that
agreement on the
means.
present, can we talk about the future?
Yeah.
Let's do a little Nostradamus thing to end this up. We'll go down the line here quickly if we can. 4 years out. It's October of 2020. Where are we as a result of pulling out of the TPP, this NATO action, which you deny is not what it is, but that's fine. I mean, I didn't mean to put it that way, and this Paris climate thing. Where is the United States on the eve of the next
First
election?
of all, we haven't pulled out of NATO in any way, shape, or form. We've actually
I didn't
put
say
more.
we pulled out of NATO.
We've put more
The
forces
pledge,
over there.
This Paris pledge I'm talking about. Paris climate thing. I'm not talking about the NATO thing.
Yes, that I think.
And by the way, right after he said he's going to renegotiate the deal, I should have said France, Germany, and Italy said no
way,
renegotiation. So we're out.
First of all, Germany is about to head into important elections, and
True.
Merkel's comments were for local consumption.
Where are we 4 years from now? Quickly.
I don't think anywhere.
How about you? Any change? Any dramatic change in 4
I
years?
think that our economy could be on the edge of a recession. People are talking about a recession in the 2020s.
Because of these decisions?
Because of some of these decisions. I think that we will not be able to exercise influence over global events because we've pulled back.
15 seconds then to Gotham.
You'll see a shift of an investment and real jobs, the high-paying jobs of the future, away from the United States. That will hurt all Americans. You'll see a shift in global emphasis, and you'll see we are unable to coordinate the world in the way that we used to do to deal with emergent crises, because everyone in the world, and anyone who spends time outside the United States knows this, Jim knows this too, thinks that Donald Trump is a punchline.
We'll see you in 4 years. Or probably before as well. Gotham, thank you.
you.
Carol.
Thanks.
Jim, as always, great
Good
to see
to see
you.
you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate your time.